1.
Well, welcome back to our exciting conversation. We're going to try and apply what we've been talking about. So practical application of expanded consciousness and awakening.
Okay.
Muzi, why the East? This excursion, we started in Thailand, Pattaya, and Phuket, and now we are here in Singapore. It looks like you just love the East for some reason, because it's been happening for a number of years now, taking family and friends to come and experience a different lifestyle. Talk to us about your decision and how it started, to try and visit the East almost every year.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that my visit to the East and doing these excursions to the East is got nothing to do with guilt. Because some people could be saying, oh, you are doing this now because when you were this fiery evangelist, you used to hit at the East and demons and gods. Because I used to be an evangelist. And I used to talk about how demonic the East is, how many gods. There are 300 million gods in India and all that. I've never been to the East, but I think I spent about 20 years of my life demonizing the East. Everybody was listening to me in church. I say it's not about guilt. I don't feel about guilt. I don't feel guilty about what I did in the past. I did what I did because my consciousness was there at that time. When I demonized the East, when I cast demons out of the East, I didn't know better.
Yes.
I did what I knew. I did what I was taught by the likes of Carlton, Pearson, and others.
Yeah. So why have you fallen in love with the East?
I fell in love with the East because the East is my place of awakening. Not only one state of awakening, my continuous. Remember, awakening is infinite. Let's not go there because it's another story altogether. But you awaken from your awakening.
Yeah.
Now, all of us here, we have to awaken from this awakening, or else we become fundamentalists in our own awakening.
Right.
So in other words, we start another religion.
Yeah.
Let's stay with that thought. Awakening. Do we discard things to embrace new things, or there is no discarding? It's more
Expansion of
better.
consciousness.
Expansion.
Yes, that's right.
Expansion.
Okay.
I think you know that I own an IT company, and I think owning the IT company and being involved in the IT space, they had they used to say, now there's this guy called Maurice Cerullo.
Yeah.
He used to say all truth is parallel. Now when Maurice Cerullo said all truth is parallel, I was still deep inside evangelicalism.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he meant. But today, now that I'm in IT and I'm also in the spiritual awakening, I realize this parallel truth. Now, the people know that I've got many phones. Okay, this is the phone that I use when I buy a SIM card, and this is what I use for WhatsApp. I've got another one that I use. I call it the Eckhart Tolle phone. When I put on my earphones and I listen to my friend Eckhart Tolle, the person that I regard as the second coming of Christ, as the Jesus. So I'm Jesus. Eckhart Tolle is the bigger Jesus, I'm the smaller Jesus. So everything that it teaches me, that's why I always listen to him all the time. Now, okay. Now, let's talk about practical things.
Yes, I need a practical application of expanded consciousness and awakening.
Now, when we came here,
yes,
when we left the Johannesburg Airport, or Tambo Airport, I was already here. And I got informed that 2 of my family members have missed the flight. The other one was because she didn't check her passport. After telling them in February that check the expiry dates of her passports, she was too excited. Sometimes when you get too excited, it's not good. Anything that you do excessively, it's not good. Get excited, but don't get too excited. Because if you do get too excited, you'll forget your passport expiry date. And then you come to the airport and they tell you, hey, your passport has expired, you cannot go. So this lady could not go. And this other brother of mine also could not go. And I was alone and I was thinking that these are the 2 people that I've always wanted in my life. Because these are the crazies. People who are crazy. And it was Ekatole again. It was Ekatole who told me, keep on going to the east. The more you go to the east, is the more you awaken. It was also Ekatole who told me, you need the triggers in your life. These people who trigger you, they are not here to make you happy. They are here to make you conscious. Now, these two people who missed the plane, these are the people that I always tell you, when I go on excursions, they must never stay behind. Because they are not here to make me happy. They are here to make me conscious. These are the people who make me conscious. Then I was feeling, now, okay, I'm going to use the subject of God now, my conversation with God. Now we're talking about practical things.
Yes.
How I do my conversation with God. I mean, coming from Neil Donald Walsh. So I said, God, now. And also, Ekatole also is the one who told me that God loves drama. Like Osho says, God loves jokes. Ekatole says, God loves drama. So I used them both. I said, God, but no, I know you love jokes, but your joke this time is funny. Because you shouldn't have done this joke of getting these two people come here. Because not come here. Because you know that I need these people for my awakening. And God says to me, no, I've decided to let them stay behind because we no longer need them. You are awakened already. I said, oh, God, I'm awakened. I don't need these two people. No, you are awakened now. Don't need them. Oh, God. What about my family? Because my family said, hey, Muzi, don't let them come. Don't book that ticket. Let them stay behind. Those people are troublesome. These two cases. God said to me, do you want your family to awaken? I said, yes, I desire for my family to awaken. He said, buy them tickets, let them come. So they're here. I can tell you another story.
Briefly.
Now, okay, so
Let me give you an yes. So yes.
Yeah. Now, yesterday, we were at the Phuket airport. I was the last to board because I always want to make sure that everybody is covered. So because I don't mind that the people will be calling my name in there, hey, Mr. Cindi, who come?
Yeah.
We're waiting for you. So because I know that they will never leave me once the body pass and then.
Yeah.
So the last person to come is my son, Sibusiso. I said, okay, everybody is here now. I was waiting for my son. So I said, go and buy me water quickly. She goes and buys me water, comes back. And now we are the last people getting on the plane. And I was convinced that everybody is here. It's only me and Sibusiso getting into the plane.
Yeah.
And as we get into the plane, my son is telling me about one of the crazies that we travel with.
Who is not in the plane?
I don't know whether it's in the plane. Sometimes I don't mind. I always say I don't mind what is happening. But also I can also control what is happening.
Yeah.
I don't mind what is happening. At the same time, I control what is happening. So we need to manage the two.
Yeah.
So then he says, Daddy, my son, do you know where you read that one? Because I didn't know whether he came or he did not come. But I bought the ticket, and for the second time, he missed the plane. For the second time.
For the second time.
Yeah, for the second time.
Same trip.
The same trip, yes. Then, but I said, God, you missed the plane again. God said, no, it's not for you. It's for the family. I said, okay, God.
Yeah.
Let's continue, God.
Wow.
So now, let me continue then. So now he's telling me about him. So he said, that guy came. I said, when did he come? He says, no, we met at Walking Street at 3 a.m. You met, Walking Street is the Bangla Road, Road of Phuket.
Yeah.
He said, we met at Bangla Road at 3 a.m. I said, no, you were there at 3 a.m., so we didn't sleep. He said, no, I didn't sleep. From Bangla Road, I came straight to the airport. I said, what about him? Did you go to the room and sleep? No, I did go to the room. When I arrived, he went straight to Bangla Road, and we met at Bangla Road, and we danced at Bangla Road until 6 in the morning. So he's busy telling me the story.
Yeah.
And now I'm moving into the door to enter the aeroplane. Then whilst he's busy telling me the story in a dramatic way, then I move forward, and he said, Daddy, wait, Daddy, come back. I said, what? He says, look there. And he says, look, here's this lady inside the police car. Who's in the police car? The second crazy. Now he's telling me about the first crazy. The first crazy God.
Yeah.
The one that he met, he met at Bangla Road.
Yeah.
The second crazy is in the police car. I said, oh God, what is happening? God says it's not for you.
For your family.
It's for your family. Awakening of the family. Then I come down. Then I go to the police. I said, what is happening here? He says, no, this person is carrying three what do you call it? Power banks. 3 power banks. Now, I know that the power bank is like a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a power bank, a charger power bank is like a bomb.
Yeah.
That's why you're not supposed to carry it on your checked-in luggage.
Yeah.
You can only keep it on your carry-on baggage.
Yeah.
But also it must have a certain limitation.
Yeah.
I think it's 20,000, what. It must not be more than 20,000. And I always tell them that if it is more than 20,000, they're going to confiscate it. You won't be able to get it in the plane and they're going to throw it away. But now, this one is not only carrying one power bank, he's carrying 3.
Yeah.
And okay, that was another
Anyway,
story.
I think we get the story. That
Yeah. Now you
there are some
understand. You
triggers
understand.
for you to be more conscious.
So you always come into the
Yeah,
present moment.
That's right.
Always come into the present moment. Always listen to your soul.
So you can stay
and don't
calm.
listen to
Yeah.
people.
Fantastic.
Listen to what is happening in
Right.
your soul.
Okay.
I think the awakening is about you following your own soul. And get this in our cell phones. It always says lost connection, connected, lost connection, lost connected, lost. That is always is a continuous thing. You're connected, you lost connection, and when you've lost connection, is when you're connected. When you are aware, awareness that I've lost connection.
Yeah, then you-
Now I'm connected.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh, good.
Gina, how do you live your expanded consciousness and your awakening practically?
First of all, I want to say it doesn't just happen to me. It's happening all the time. I have to get to the end of myself. I've worked all of my life to do it right, to be accepted, to fit in, like go the extra mile. I learned I was going to fit, and I was confronted with places I didn't fit. And I got to the end of myself over and over. There's so many avenues I could take. I recognize time is of the essence. But getting to the end of myself and surrendering to something beyond me, you know, at the best of who I could be, I was still limited. And to embrace that there's more that I didn't know, there was a deeper connection, all of these things that I had heard, I just had to trust it. I had to trust the process. And it's been, I mean, I'll tell you just briefly, I had an encounter in Costa Rica. I went and did the plant medicine. And I didn't know it was this psychedelic drug thing. I just knew it was an opportunity to transform, and I went. And I was going to play hard. The girlfriend I went with was a pastor, my good friend, my prayer partner. I trusted her leading. And I went and participated fully. And when confronted with that moment, she said to me, when you drink the medicine, do not lie in your SH. She said that. So I'm going to do it right. I'm going to sit up and be present to it and bring it on. And I went into this trip. I just began to say, help me, help me. And I pierced the eyes of a gentleman who was assisting. And such love came at me to help me. His eyes were so pure. And he gets right in front of me and he goes, what do you need? In that moment, I couldn't decide what I needed. He walked away. Well, he went to get the team to come and help me through this process of breaking through. And I realized there I was in this, help myself, what am I doing? And I literally just had to lay back and surrender. Like, I didn't know what was happening. It's like, I literally chose death. And in that moment, I was so out of control, but surrendered. In the moment of surrender, I found light. I was still there. And so to pass that test, to give up all of Gina's way, the right way, the perfect way, which was exhausting me, that moment brought the light.
When we were in Phuket, you shared with me an experience, and that was you posted about how excited you were to be in Thailand, and somebody from somewhere saw the post, and she started saying some crazy words against you, criticizing you for being, you know, next to the Buddha temples and stuff like that. that the way that person talked could have made someone to be so angry, but you remain calm. How did you manage to remain so calm the way I saw you being calm? Because that was something.
It was shocking. Yet I recognized that her comments were more about her than me.
That's right.
At one time, I would
So
have
she was
taken
projecting
Yes.
to you. That's right.
I would have made it personal. I would have gone into my, what did I do wrong? How can I fix it?
Yeah.
And I recognized that was not about me. And I sent her love.
So would you say that's part of living an expanded consciousness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Wow.
having their own encounter
That's
with
right.
life. And it's not for me to judge. I mean, I got shockingly that,
Yeah.
I mean, I triggered, which is what I do in life. I trigger people, and I know that, and I suffered for years thinking, what's wrong with me? And now I have to let that go to know I'm right where I need to be.
You need to write a book one day about that. Yeah. Stephanie, talk to us. You are also a minister, a reverend, you are revered, and you teach people this thing.
Irreverent reverend.
Reverend doesn't work.
That's right. But you are also a teacher of this life. But you also have your own personal experience. So how do you apply it yourself? How do you live it yourself?
Well, I discovered Science of Mind, the name of my teaching, when I was 27, when I first came to South Africa. And at that time, South Africa was still under apartheid. And I realize now that I was in a country where separation was very pronounced, because the separation within me from my God was very pronounced. I really hated myself. I was very depressed. I was drinking heavily. I was very overweight. I had lots of zits on my skin. I was promiscuous. I was doing whatever I could do to try and get love in the outer world and get approval and get acceptance, and just to feel, I wanted to feel connected, and my only way that I had to feel connected was to try to connect with outer powers. I made gods out of everything outside of myself. And then I started Science of Mind, and I remember one day my teacher said in a class, all life is consciousness. And that was it. That was my moment of transforming. All life is consciousness. So the physical is not real. Humans are not real. All life is an expression of my consciousness. All of my experience is that expression of what I believe, what I see, what I feel, what I perceive. So that was the turning point. And I realized then that I'm responsible for my experience, and that everybody else is responsible for their experience also. So there are no victims. And at the same time that I was learning about this spiritual philosophy, I had a vision for a multiracial ministry in South Africa. So the inner healing was also beginning to express as a way to contribute to the healing of South Africa. And I think the real freedom came when I studied in America for 10 years. I came back to South Africa in the year 2000, and I started my multiracial ministry. And when I started working as a minister, I knew I was fulfilling my spiritual purpose. And my whole life became about service. How can I serve? How can I help this community grow? How can I grow this community? How can I help the members grow? How can I expand their experience of heaven on earth? So my whole being was geared around how to serve. So I wasn't thinking about myself. I wasn't thinking about my own personal issues, my problems, my pain. My focus of attention was on service. And that's when I really began to enjoy my life.
I'm fixated on the idea that because you were separated from your God, it was very difficult for you to connect with anybody else.
Yeah, I didn't.
Even though you were trying to,
Yeah.
but it never went because you were not connected with you.
Inside,
That's
yeah,
right,
I wasn't connected inside. And believe it or not, I'm a linguist. I speak many languages.
Yeah, yeah.
So in my attempt to communicate and connect, I speak a lot of languages, but I never felt that inner sense of connection. And gradually, it's grown where I really don't care what people think about me. That's a great freedom.
Yeah.
They can think whatever they
And
want.
it's very obvious.
So, signs
And
of
that's why I call
mind.
him my pastor.
Yeah. You mentioned signs of mind. Briefly, what is that? What is signs of mind?
Science of mind. So it's a philosophy. I call it a spiritual philosophy.
Okay.
The man who founded the teaching was he figured out a way to compile the ancient wisdom that he read widely, all the
Yeah.
philosophies and religions of the world,
Yes.
and he put it together in a format that he called Science of Mind. And the basic tenet is that you and I are responsible for our experience, that our thoughts are creative, our thoughts create our reality.
Yeah.
And as a way of changing thoughts, he introduced a way of prayer called affirmative prayer or
Yeah.
spiritual mind treatment. So when people come to me as a practitioner with pain, with problems, with issues that they can't resolve, I know how to pray with them and for them in such a way that their consciousness shifts. And as soon as consciousness shifts,
Like that.
the outer world shifts
Yeah.
accordingly. So the
Yeah.
pains and the problems start to dissolve.
Yeah. Interesting. Everything is an illusion around you.
It is. It
That's
is.
right.
It is. Yeah. And so,
Life is
but I might be.
Yeah.
But it's an illusion, and I'm judging it as good and bad all the
Yeah,
time
that's
because I'm
right.
human, right?
Yeah.
So we all want to go towards the good illusion
right,
and get
yes.
away from the bad illusion.
Yeah.
And even that is part of the unawakened. Is part
I
of
think
the
we must have another conversation another time about that. So that's,
Yeah.
that's interesting, and in fact, it actually links very well to being a metaphor.
Mm.
Jackson Khosa,
Yeah.
talk to me about your practical application of Christ consciousness, or expanded consciousness, or awakening, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I like to talk about what Muzi said about triggers.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's marriage, I'm happy that I brought my wife here, whether it's friendship, whatever it is, you will have the best triggers from those that are closest to you. And just to talk about my experience this time here in the East, I'm also from the same background with Muzi, where the East were taught that it's a place of demonic presence. And yet, this is where I learned what I know. The West emphasizes on the outer, the East emphasizes on the inner. So my experiences right now during this trip, I feel that was the time that the West was knocked off, because I have dreams whenever I travel, each and every country I go to. There are dreams at night, and it is actually related to my life. This time around, I dreamt I was in a big stadium, and I'm always, it is the audience of one, and there was this guy who had when they're boxing, it's written East, and then the other guy was West. So they were hitting at each other. I have heard a lot of things like that, even in the past, concerning exclusion. When I traveled with Muzi, I had a dream when the god of exclusion was knocked off some years ago. And this time here, in the dream, it was the West in me, because that is the most important thing. It has got nothing to do with the real West or the real East.
Right.
It has something to do with you. So for me, this time it was like, because once you say, I'm one with the divine, mystical union, that is what we are all chasing. All these triggers, we are being pushed to that thing. When that thing happens in you, it will be tested outside. So there were a lot of tests concerning inclusion. I told people, I said, you can preach, you can talk, you can write books about unconditional love. But when you go to Pattaya, when you go to those streets, when you go to these people who are doing everything, that is when you know how much unconditional. When you talk about Moses, I'm telling you, go to those streets. That is when you will see how much Moses you have, rather than them. So for me, this time there was a lot of knocking off from the East. So what I'm thankful for now is that I can tell that I'm growing. Always when I come to the East, I grow. My life changes, and I'm trying to readjust my way of looking at life.
Fantastic. Carlton, you are looking up for some inspiration.
Well, I'm fascinated with the idea of geography, spiritual geography.
Uh-huh.
Before I emphasize the Mid-East, which is where Jesus was from, I was fascinated with not going to the East, but those who came from the East, the Magi, the wise men. Before I ever knew that Jesus was wise, I read and heard of wise men, magicians, astrologers or astrologists, maybe astronomers from the East. My first trip to the East was to China to visit the underground church. It wasn't near as exhilarating an experience as coming here now, because I'm fascinated with the geography, if I can use the term again, of consciousness, of awareness. Science really means knowledge. To know a science person is somebody with knowledge. I feel, and I don't want to say believe, I feel that we all came here from wherever we come, knowing, and then we forgot. We went through this amnesia. At this time in my life, and I'm more than 6 decades, almost 7 decades old, I am reclaiming, reconnecting with the knowledge I forgot.
We are remembering.
I'm remembering my dismembered self.
Yes.
The part of me that's fragmented and with all the people and the experiences and fingers and footprints that have stopped and touched me. Now it's like I'm reconnecting, recollecting, reclaiming who I am and disclaiming who I'm not. So it's a personality clash, but it's also a personality click. My dad said on his deathbed that all of this was an illusion. 2 days later, he was gone. He said a spoon doesn't mean the same thing to me. And I was so fascinated with my dad's illusions and delusions and mine. Because it was passing on to back to our future. I think we are all going back to our future. So the most practical or practiced part of my life is evaluating not just that I am, because I'm very conscious of that, but why. And I think why I am is because I know something that I forgot, and I'm remembering it.
Yeah. Well, this has been an exciting conversation, but I'm going to give each one of you 30 seconds just to give us your final remarks, starting with you, Gina. 30 seconds.
I just really want to encourage our audience to be where you are. Nothing is wrong with how your life is unfolding. It's perfect. And just be with it, be present to it, play the game of it big time, and you'll awaken to whatever you awaken to whenever you awaken to it.
Fantastic. I will jump, Muzi, our host. You will be the last giving your final word, but 30 seconds, Stephanie. Your thoughts?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember when I was 19 that I set the intention that I wanted my life to be about profound conversations. So thank you, Muzi.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for setting the stage.
Yeah.
And what I want to share with the audience is whatever you set your intention for will manifest. Just wait and it will happen.
Fantastic.
I'm returning to the West like the men from the East as a magician, the Magi. And I want to expand my Christ consciousness because they came looking for the star.
Yeah.
They were astronomers. So I'm looking into the stars and looking into the infinite knowingness of aboveness. And I'm gonna start to get the magic in my life.
Yeah, fantastic. Jackson?
Just like my bishop here, 62 years old, and I'm so blessed because I feel as if I'm just beginning. So I'm wishing all the best to all of you and to all the audience.
Yeah. Well, from me, it's been great to be one with us. So I'm going to give over to Muzi, who is hosting us here in Singapore, to just say your final words.
I
Thank you
think
so much.
my final weight, the weight for this morning that I got from the superconscious is that every thought you think creates a future.
Yeah.
I think, therefore I'm unhappy. I think, therefore I'm frustrated. I think, therefore I'm worried. I think, therefore I'm unhealthy. I do not think I'm well. I do not think I'm happy. Think wisely. Think what you need to happen. Think not what you hate. Think what you love. Namaste.
Beautiful. Namaste.
Think and become rich, or think and
Think and